As a Formula One driver at the wheel of his Ferrari, Carlos Sainz is not satisfied with his performance in recent races. In the Singapore Grand Prix, he drove an honest race, but as we know, the result was severely limited by the poor outcome of the qualifying session on Saturday. Things didn't go well at the Baku city circuit in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix either, as his comeback attempt ended in disappointment with a retirement and a 0 points finish after a collision with the Red Bull RB20 of Sergio Perez with just one lap until the end of the race. The same goes for the Italian Grand Prix at the Monza circuit in front of the Tifosi, where his fourth-place finish starkly contrasted with his Maranello teammates' extraordinary victory. In these three races, Carlos Sainz himself has been far from pleased with his performance. Beyond the results, his feeling with the SF24 car seemed noticeably inferior compared to Charles Leclerc's, who, with the latest aerodynamic package of updates to the car, thanks to changes to the floor, rear, and front wings introduced by the Maranello technical team, has gained an extra level of confidence that made a significant difference. Comparing two drivers on the same team is never pleasant, but it provides a direct measure of a driver's mental and physical capabilities at certain stages of the Formula One championship. Charles Leclerc is a tough competitor, but the Spaniard has shown on several occasions that he has the potential to outperform his Maranello teammate. Moreover, considering Carlos Sainz's future, this final part of the 2024 Formula One Championship must not be easy. The Spanish driver, to put it bluntly and without unnecessary comments that insult Carlos Sainz's intelligence, has been dismissed by Ferrari and judged in the prime of his career as inferior to the talent of seven-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton, who is nearing 40. The British driver will join the Italian side starting next January and will face off against Charles Leclerc. It's not an easy challenge considering the great competitiveness of the Monegasque. As known by now, Carlos Sainz has signed with Williams for the following 2 seasons. Despite the fact that Audi's offer was far more advantageous from a financial point of view, and the German team was ready to make Carlos Sainz its cornerstone, in the end, the current Ferrari driver chose to join the Grove-based team. In simple terms, it's a step down in his career. Carlos Sainz is an excellent driver, but he never fully convinced Ferrari's management. That's the reality. 4 seasons in which he performed well, but he couldn't achieve the goal he had set for himself, becoming Formula One world champion with the historic Italian team. Nonetheless, Carlos Sainz is offering his full support to the Maranello team for the final part of the Formula One championship. Before making yet another move in his career, Carlos Sainz still has a couple of tasks to complete for Ferrari. The first, on a more personal note, is his desire to win one more time at the wheel of the SF24. A victory in the remaining 6 races would allow him to leave the team with another achievement under his belt. However, this will not be an easy goal to reach. McLaren is in great form and will start the final 2 months with favorable predictions. Then there's Red Bull, which will introduce a new aerodynamic update package at the 5.513-kilometer Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, in order to return to the top of the field. As if that weren't enough, achieving this final goal also means beating his teammate, who currently seems in good form and determined to push to the end. Carlos Sainz's victories with Ferrari are only 3. The first came at the controversial British Grand Prix 2 years ago, when a questionable strategy from the Maranello pit wall on Charles Leclerc's car, combined with his own determination, allowed him to secure his first Formula One win. The second victory came at the Singapore Grand Prix, where the number 55 Ferrari was the only car capable of defeating the phenomenal Red Bull RB19. His third triumph in red, an epic one considering the appendicitis surgery he had undergone less than 2 weeks earlier, came at the start of the current Formula One season at the Albert Park circuit in the Australian Grand Prix. This is Carlos Sainz's record as he approaches each race with the intention to take the race victory. And it's for this reason that he would like to enrich his Ferrari achievements in this final part of the campaign. 6 races are not too few to try, especially considering there are also 3 100-kilometer sprint races that, though less significant than the Sunday main event, are still important competitions that award valuable points. Furthermore, the Constructors' Championship is still open for Scuderia Ferrari, which believes it can fight for this goal. Carlos Sainz will do everything to support the prancing horse, and the same goes for helping Charles Leclerc if the Monegasque driver can miraculously close the gap to Lando Norris and Max Verstappen in the drivers' title race. However, to keep these hopes alive, Carlos Sainz emphasizes that the Maranello team must prove the recent progress is not just a result of the favorable circuits. At tracks like Brazil, Austin, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, it will be essential to give their all. These are circuits where Ferrari hasn't shown great performance in recent years. This is why the Circuit of the Americas in Austin will be decisive, as the American racetrack will provide a clearer indication of the SF24's competitiveness. The Ferrari single-seater will also receive further updates, among other things. In all of this, Carlos Sainz's contribution will be vital, as both Italian cars will need to be at their best to compete for a strong result against well-prepared teams like McLaren and Red Bull. We await Texas for the first answers. Ferrari lies third in the standings, 75 points behind McLaren with 6 races remaining, whilst Red Bull is only 34 points ahead of the Scuderia. Red Bull is firmly in Ferrari's sights ahead of the United States Grand Prix, with Carlos Sainz accepting McLaren as favorite to collect its first constructors' crown since 1998. McLaren has been the strongest team since the end of the summer break, notably winning the last 2 races. The Spaniard has recognized, though, McLaren may yet falter. If it does, Ferrari needs to be in a position to capitalize. Should McLaren maintain its form, the Ferrari driver is at least hopeful the Italian side can beat Red Bull to second in the standings. Finishing second would be seen as a positive step by the iconic outfit given its mid-season blip, triggered by its Spanish Grand Prix upgrade reintroducing bouncing. However, Carlos Sainz is expecting Red Bull to bounce back in the remaining 6 rounds, following the introduction of an upgrade package at the Circuit of the Americas. When asked if finishing second would be a positive consolation for Ferrari, the Spaniard said, "I think it would show good resilience by the team." When asked if finishing second would be a positive consolation for Ferrari, Carlos Sainz expressed that it would demonstrate the Maranello team's strong resilience, especially after a challenging middle part of the 2024 Formula One Championship, when they lost a significant number of points and development progress due to an update introduced at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. The Ferrari driver also acknowledged that Red Bull is likely to come back strong with upgrades toward the end of the season, once they understand the issues with their RB20 car, making it difficult to beat them as well. Carlos Sainz expressed that he still has a strong desire to win a race this year, but clarified that his motivation isn't solely tied to having a positive farewell to the Italian team. His main focus is on trying to win at least one more time with Ferrari before his departure, not because he is leaving, but because he always aims to win every race he competes in. Reflecting on his chances to secure at least one more race victory this year, Carlos Sainz acknowledged that the rest of the season will not be easy, considering the team's form in previous races. He emphasized the need to show progress on more conventional circuits like Brazil, Austin, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. If the team performs well at these tracks, he believes they could have a chance to win. However, if they continue to struggle, as they did at Spa or Hungary, it would indicate that there is still significant work to be done.